Hello and welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at ship customization. Now we're at New Atlantis, we've just landed, and the reason we're doing this is because you can do it quite early on. In fact, as soon as you land here, all you need to do is speak to this technician. When you talk to the technician, I'd like to view and modify my ship.
Okay, no problem.
That will bring you into this new screen. Now this screen is one that you can access at any time by pressing the H key. But you will not have access to this ship builder unless you're talking to a technician or you've built a spaceport. Different technicians in different places will allow you to buy different parts, and you probably get the best options on your own spaceport on your base. But we haven't built that yet and we're not ready for that, so this is the first option you have. So when you see this screen for the first time, on the left hand side shows your ship. You can cycle between your ships. You can see your credits. And you can inspect, ship build, upgrade or exit. Now if we upgrade, it's very simple. You just choose an item. You can use A and D. So any item you want. For example, I might go for the shield. Let's say I'm going to go for the engines. Alright, so if I click on this, this is going to give me a chance to upgrade my current engines, which are the White Dwarf 2000. I can upgrade them to the White Dwarf 2010. So I can go to the next model up, and it's going to cost me 11,000 credits to be able to do that. Now I can simply do that, and I can, once I've done that, I can select it. I can press tab to exit, and it's going to ask me, do I want to accept? If I accept, it's going to upgrade my engines, and we're done. That's it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cancel that modification. And the upgrade is just a very simple way to upgrade modules in a very quick way that you don't need to mess about. Same with things like the pulse lasers. Click on a pulse laser. There's different lasers that I can choose, and it shows you the difference on the left. So okay, it's going to give me like my current version that I currently have on the ship, and I can see the difference. So for example, right now if I look at my my current lasers, I've got the Dragon 221. Okay, so I've got the Dragon 221. Now these are different lasers. So if I get these are going to give me massive upgrade. Like these are missile launchers, so it's going to give me massive upgrade to my damage, but they're missile launchers. They're no longer lasers. So you have to look at what you've got, what you want to do, what you want to change, what options are available, and you can do that through this upgrade screen. And it's really a case of just figuring out what works for you. On the bottom of the screen it says laser ballistic missile, that's your weapons. Then we've got the hull and the shield, which is your ship itself. Then we've got the cargo and the max crew. And then we've got the mobility and the jump range, and then the top speed and the mass. So let's come out of this and go into the ship builder. In the ship builder, we can now pull everything apart. So we can see how this ship is currently built. We can drag any part. If I want to move around, by the way, I just hold down my right mouse click. Left mouse click on a part, and I can drag it and I can remove it. And see how I've now detached this. And I can do that to any part. I can take the engines off, I can just drag them and move them apart. And I can take the entire ship apart this way. So if I want to, I can move everything away until this entire ship has been deconstructed. So I just do this. And you kind of see, I'll move the shield, I'll move the fuel. That's kind of the hab module here, we'll move that as well. We're going to rebuild it, so don't worry. There's the hab module, and there's some cargo as well. Alright, so there's my ship in complete pieces. So what I can do now at this stage, I can click on this, which is my landing bay. Okay, and in my landing bay, I can put my cargo on the back of it. Now my cargo holds 210. Alright, so maybe I want to change that. Maybe I want bigger cargo space. Well, I can press a button. I can press G to add. And now I can choose by using Q and T. I can choose all these different options here. So I can go from bays to cargo, cockpits, dockers, engine, fuel tanks, lots of different options. I want to look at cargo. Alright, what cargo do I have options to? Well, that's the one I currently have, the 100 cm ballistic cargo hold. Alright, that gives me 210 cargo. Alright, well what if I don't want that one? What if I want one that gives me more? Alright, well I can't have this one because I don't have a Starship design. But I could maybe get this one. It's going to go from 210 to 245. Well, hold on a minute. What if I don't want one? What if I want two? Maybe I want to get two of them. Well, Okay, so I can do that. Maybe I'll go for 2 of these instead. So I add 1, which is now here. And I haven't been charged for it yet. And if I want to duplicate it, I can simply hold down left control and press G. There we go. I've now got 2 of them. Now, I need to fit them somewhere, so that's the problem. But now I've got a lot more cargo space. Alright, cool. So let's continue building the ship. Well, the next thing we know is we've got this hab, which is our Nova Galactic Frontier. That kind of sits on the front here. So this is our hab, and then on the front of the hab, attached to that, was our cockpit. Alright, so that's our cockpit. Now, we could move our hab back, but now the cockpit won't fit, because the cockpit won't fit above the docker. So we kind of have to have this here, and we have to have this here. Alright, that's cool. That works. Or what else can we do? Well, before, if you remember, we had the reactor. The reactor was kind of on here like this. Okay, well that's pretty cool. That fits. But what if I want to move the reactor? What if I want the reactor somewhere else? Well, I could do that. That's an option. And I can also fit the engines on the reactor. And I can fit these on the side here as well. So that whole side's now built. But I've got nowhere for this new thing to go. Okay, so I need to change that, obviously. I need to figure that out. Where does it go? Where's it going to fit? Well, I could put the grav drive back on top where it was. That's possible. Alright, and I've got the docker here. That's possible. I can put the docker back on. And then I had this kind of front section here, which had the missiles on it. Alright, well that's possible as well. I can have that on there. I could also put that on the front there instead of the side. And I can get myself some more missiles. Alright, let's do that. Let's duplicate these missiles and I'll put them on the other side. So now I've got 2 sets of missiles, a laser cannon, and 2 pulse lasers. Great. Alright, so the ship's looking a little bit better. Alright, well let's come around to the other side and put these back on. Alright, so now I'm left with 4 things. Well, actually, an engine as well. But let's just put the engine back on. It won't fit because that's in the way. Alright. So now I've only got 2 spaces left on this ship and I've got 4 items. And that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to add another piece. Alright, well what do I want to add? Well, I can have a look around at things. And I think the first thing I'm going to do in this instance is I'm going to pick up a new bay. Not bay, sorry. A new, not structure, hab. So I can get a storeroom. That's possible. I can get an all-in-one berth. I can get an engineering bay. Engineering bay is quite large though. It's 3 by 3, look. So I could get the engineering bay. I could get the all-in-one berth. Or I could get the storeroom. All 3 of those are an option. Also, if I don't want to get the Nova Galactic, I could get the all-in-one berth from Deimios. That's another option, which as you can see looks slightly different. Different layout, different module. So I get to kind of choose as and how I want to build my ship. And there's so many different ways to do this. There's no right or wrong answer, by the way. There's no right or wrong answer. So for now, what I might do is just remove this. And I've also, as you can see, got quite a few bits to add on to here, right? So I need a few new bits. Well, I need to figure out what's going to go where. That's the biggest problem. So let's take out these 2 side panels that I've got. I don't want the engineering bay for now. I don't need that. I don't feel like right now I need the all-in-one berth. Let's move the reactor out the way and let's move this cargo hold out the way. Alright, so I can actually sell that cargo hold if I want to. Alright. And let's add in... Oh, I don't want that one either. Alright, so what am I going to buy? Well, I could go for the all-in-one berth. That's an option. If I get the engineering bay, then that's somewhere that Vasco can live. Because Vasco would live in the engineering bay. So, maybe I do want the engineering bay. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe I should go ahead and just buy that. Maybe I'll put it on there. So now I've got this, like, huge area of the ship that I can run through. And in doing that, I might kind of want to put these here instead, right? Because I can still have these attached to the back, like this. This still works. I can still have these here, but now look, I've got this additional space now. So now I've got this space here and here for this cargo. Also, underneath the ship, I've got all this additional space still. I can put this stuff underneath if I need to. So that can go underneath. This can also now fit underneath. Just need to rearrange myself. 1 second. Let's just bring that over to the ship. Okay, so one thing, if you're trying to move stuff around, I need to press the F key, because at the moment it's above. F brings it down to the level, and F again brings it underneath. So I've got to think about where is this going to fit on the ship. So maybe it's not going to fit where I want it to. Okay, well if it doesn't, that's fine. I just need to bring it up to the right level. There we go. So this wouldn't actually fit underneath the ship. Okay, well if it doesn't fit underneath the ship, that's fine. It's not always going to work like that. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Doesn't matter. And if you ever lose anything, sometimes you'll move stuff and lose stuff. Like you'll be like, oh, where's it gone? I've lost it. That can happen at times. So unfortunately, that's just an inconvenience with when you're moving stuff around. Sometimes stuff, as you're moving it, you'll lose it. And it's really, really difficult to see. You can zoom all the way out, like as far as you can go. You can look around, but sometimes it's just really hard to find it. And if that happens, it's just really, really unfortunate. You're going to have to come out and go back in. There we go. If you press escape, it can bring it back if you need it. Just bear that in mind. So I've got to kind of find somewhere for this to live right now. And I kind of want it to live underneath here, right? Like that's where I want it to go. So if I want to get it to fit somewhere and it won't go, I can just press the F key. I can move it around. Maybe press... Let's see if I can get this to fit. Ready? There we go. Now it fits. So it's a bit of snapping, it's a bit of playing about, but you can get it to work. You just need to mess about a little bit, but it will go. It will go. And then it's just a case of, well, what do I want to fit and where do I want it to fit? Alright, so this again is really about, more than anything, moving stuff around, getting it to where you want it to go. And when you're happy and you've got everything where you want it to go, great. Then you can kind of snap the rest of the stuff on and off you go. So for now, I can flip stuff if I need to as well. So I can flip stuff around. Like if I want to move it somewhere. There we go. Now, this storeroom, I don't really need the storeroom. That's a bit extra. I could keep it if I wanted to. But look at the warning that I've got. Okay, so the warning is reduce mass or add engines to improve mobility. Reduce mass or add engines. So that's the problem that I've got right now. Alright, I'm going to put the shield on the top here. Alright. This will only go left or right, so there's no other options for this. This storeroom, I don't need it, so let's remove that. I've still got that warning though. Still got that warning. So I've removed all of the stuff that I can remove. And the only stuff I've got left at the moment is stuff I kind of want. I want Docker. I want all the other bits. And so, yeah, I'm a bit stuck in terms of what to do, right? So I need some more engines. Or maybe I upgrade those engines. Or maybe I'll just buy some more. If I duplicate this and add another engine, I could put that on here. But I have to look at the credits and what it's costing. Now there's an error. Ship is too heavy to grav jump. Reduce mass or increase grav jump thruster. So now you can start to see some of the problems you're going to have as you start to build out, right? So I can't do this yet. I need to come back. But also, having this, I've still got a warning. Reduce mass or add engines to improve ability. So my mobility is going to be a problem because of this module that I've got on here. So maybe this free module is a problem. Maybe it's the free module that I can't use right now. All right, and maybe I should look at not having this to start with. It's too much. Good lessons. So maybe instead I get rid of this free module and maybe instead I go for the 2 module. Just for now. Alright, so I can add that on instead. So now we go back to where we was. We put everything back. Just check. Wait 1 second. What's going on here? That's a little bit weird. It's kind of not... There we go, that's better. Wasn't lined up on a ship properly. Alright, so that can go on a bit further up. That goes on there. That goes on there. This goes on there. Alright, so that's working a little bit better. And now we've got these parts that we can stick on the side here. That bit can go on there. Alright, so now the ship's built, but we've still got a warning. Reduce mass or add engines to improve mobility. So we've still got that mobility problem. Now we can fly with this, but it's just still a problem, right? So just something to bear in mind. That when you're starting out upgrading your ship, it's going to be a challenge. Now we can't really do much else at this stage. We almost need all of the other spaces that we've got available to us, right? So this is our fuel. We kind of don't have anywhere else for that to go. It can only be flipped left or right. So we don't have any other options with our fuel tank. It has to go kind of there. And everything else, yeah. Everything else is kind of as we need it. So we don't really have any other options at the moment. The ship kind of is what it is. Now we could maybe remove this down to make it a single one, but then we're going to have the other problem. So we could, it is an option for us to put this on the side here. So that can go on one side. But then we're still going to need that extra space, right? But we could attach it to the bottom instead. So if we went for a single one, which we could do, we could go for a single one. And that is also an option. So maybe we'll just have a look. We'll see if it makes a difference. Because, again, in these early stages, we're going to really struggle with that. The main thing we're going to struggle with at the moment is the size of everything, right? So, yeah, that's the main problem. So if we delete that, go to add, go for a single storeroom. And maybe the single storeroom is what we need instead. So we'll put that on. Now the biggest problem we're going to have right now with this is how the engines are going to fit on, right? So we need to be able to fit the engines onto these, as well as the other parts that we've got. So the engines will fit on. They'll fit on above there. So we could fit them on like this. It's a bit big, a bit tall. We also need to fit in the shield, but the shield can go on the side here. Right, now we have 2 errors on our ship. Ship has unattached modules, does it? Oh, and the invalid docker position. Yes, the docker position is invalid because the engines are above it. The docker needs to be on the outside. But also, I didn't realise there was anything unattached. Oh, of course, that's not attached. There we go. So now we've got one error, which is the docker. Docker module needs to be on an outside edge of the ship. And also, we still need to reduce that mass. So that won't work either because we can't use the docker. So, again, more problems. More problems that we need to fix. Now, we could fix that by putting these down here. We could put these on the edge here instead, like so. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, yeah, now that does work. So now the docker is on the top level. That does count. That's how the ship kind of looks at the moment. There's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things we can do. But we have still got that warning again. And that warning is we need to reduce mass. Alright, so we've got limited mobility, which is a problem. So the only way we can reduce the mass at the moment is to take this off. This is the problem. So now, if we take off our cargo, we're fine. But we've limited our cargo space. So it's actually that cargo that's the biggest problem at the moment. And we can't fit that cargo on because there's just no space for it. So let's escape out, cancel our modification, and we're back to where we was. This is how the ship was built initially. Okay, so the ship is how it is. It's how it was. What if we were just to do nothing else except for go to the shipbuilder, take off the cargo, and what if we were just to upgrade the cargo and do nothing else? And it doesn't really matter because we're going from 210 to 245. It's not a massive amount. But the problem is here, look. This cargo only fits on the side. It doesn't fit on the back. Yeah? So the problem we've got at the moment is we can't fit this on. There's nowhere for it to fit. So this part will only fit on the back. which is why we don't want this module, because we can't flip it. It only goes left and right. Okay, so that one doesn't work. So what can we use? Well, we know we've got that version. How about this version? Nope, same thing. Only goes left and right. So we're really seeing that we're limited in our options right now. Well, okay, so we can't upgrade the cargo. So what can we do? Well, we can earn some more credits. And when we earn some more credits, what that's going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to buy better parts. We need to upgrade the grav drive. We need to upgrade the reactor. We need to add more engines. That's always got to be the forefront of what we do. We've always got to be thinking about that. But yes, if we want to increase our ship and build it and make adjustments to it, that's how we would do it. Now, let's just say this is our ship, okay, and let's just say we want to change these thrusters. Let's just say we don't like these thrusters, okay? So let's go into Ship Builder, and we can take this thruster off. I don't even know if we actually need 4 thrusters, to be honest. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, I don't know. Maybe 2 would work. That might be alright, actually. But these thrusters, what we could do here is we could actually add different thrusters. So if we look, here we go, look at the gears. Alright, so these are the gears that we were currently using. There's no real difference between these except for the value. So let's use this one instead. Alright, so now we just need somewhere to attach it. Now we can flip it if we need to. Just left and right side, that's all. Alright, now that's the one we currently have. If we were to add the other one, this one. There we go, it looks just like this. So we can change the look and the feel if we want to. As you can see, the difference between 1 and 2. So we can delete these ones. And because we've got this one now, we can just left control and G and we'll duplicate it and we can place it there. So as you can see, now we've got like these different thrusters. These ones look a bit knackered and old. Alright, we're going to take this one. And maybe we don't need all 4. Maybe we can get away with just using 2. So maybe if we delete this one. So look at the difference in the mass, right? It's not actually that much. When you think about it, and this is what's important, when we look at the ship, 354, 357. It loses a little bit of mobility, but not much. Not much. But it does give us an extra spot here. So we've got an extra bit of an extra bit to play with. Okay, well what are we going to do with that? Well, again, we could change this so we can delete this, move this cannon to the front of the ship. We can change this, put it on this side. There we go. Now we've got our missiles and our cannon done. We've upgraded this, so it looks a little bit different now. A little bit different. Okay. So now that we've got this ship and this ship works, the hull could probably use a little bit more love. Alright, well, again, there's more stuff that we can do. We can protect the hull just a little bit more. Alright, so now the hull's protected, which is important, right? So the hull's protected. But, as a result, we've lost our mobility. So, just things that we need to consider. Now, the next thing that we can do here is we can hover over any piece and we can press J. Alright, so the ship's built. Let's just exit out the ship. So, all items moved to the cargo hold is warning to the ship in flight check, confirm modifications anyway. So, there are warnings for the ship, but we can still use the ship. It's just going to have mobility problems. So we have to understand we're going to have mobility problems. And that main mobility problem right now is just because we've added the extra missiles. So if we wanted to go back, we could just simply, very simply, just delete that and we're fine. The ship's absolutely fine. So it's just that, just those missiles is the only problem. Adding the missiles to the ship causes the problem, which is unfortunate. It's a bit sad, but it is what it is. We could also move this up here. We could move this up the top if we wanted to. Again, there's lots of options and ways and things that we can do this. But we're going to leave it as it is for now. That kind of works for us. We don't need to mess about. The ship is now nominal. Everything works, but we've just lost one of our missile launchers. We can add that later when we get up ready to. We've spent a little bit on the ship, but before we check out, we're going to press J. Now, if we press J, we can actually bring up the colour of the ship. So there are 3 different colours, and we can change this, as you can see here. So if we want a different colour, change the brightness. So maybe we're going to go for a red ship instead. So you can see there, that's what that's going to change. All right, let's go to colour 2. So colour 2 is going to be this part. So we can change this part as well. So maybe we want this part to be white. Maybe we want it to be black. So we now have a black and a red ship. All right, what does colour 3 do? Well, colour 3 is like the accent panels. So you've got the main, the side, and the accent. Cool. All right, so we've got these options of what we can do and what we can build. So maybe we're going to go for this like red, white, and black ship, which looks pretty mean, pretty beastly. Cool. So let's go for the next panel. Once we're happy with that, we press enter. That's now the color of that. We can go ahead and we can change every color on every panel. And it also shows us our recent colors that we used. So maybe that's going to be black. Color 2 can be red. All right. So now we can see that has now changed as well. Cool. And there is a color 3, which if we want to, we can change as well. But it doesn't really matter. All right, same again, we'll come up here, color 1. What do we want it to be? Which part do we want to be black or which part? And this is really a case of just playing about, finding colors that you're happy with, that you like, and getting the ship to a point where you think, yep, I like that. That ship looks pretty cool. All right. Now, you can't change some things. For example, I can't change the lasers. They're kind of set. There's nothing I can do about those, unfortunately. But we can go through every other part of the ship and we can change how it looks. And again, it really is just about finding the colours that work for you, what you like, what looks good. There's no right or wrong answer here. It really just depends. It might be that you want to go all one colour. It might be that you want to go a completely different colour. You do whatever works for you. All right, I'm going to just finish these off really quickly. I think I'm going to go for black and red here. Or do I go for red and black? See, this is where the real challenges come from when you start to make this and you have to decide how is it going to look. Because aesthetics about flying your ship is obviously everything. Alright, cool. I'm happy with that. Now, if you get one of these and you like it, you can quite simply just delete the others, because if you've got 4 of them, this could take some time. Control and G, and that is now going to match. Control and G again, and then flip it. And then Control and G. And that is just a much easier way to do that. Alright, so that part of the ship's now done. Last part here is going to be these. So, main colour. Kind of feel like the main colour has to be red. Secondary colour can be black. We can't do anything about the gold on top, but that's fine. And you can do exactly the same thing here. So once you're happy, you can delete one. Control and G, Z to flip it. And then that's done. All right. I can change the colour of this as well, which at this stage I think just needs to be red. All right. We've kind of changed what we can at this stage. There's a little bit here, but not really much we can change at this point. This one's pretty much set in its ways in colours. Alright. You can play about as well if you want to with the grav drive, but again, colour-wise, there's not that much you can do to it. I think that works. And then last thing underneath is going to be the cargo hold, which we can just make red and blue. There we go. Alright, there's our ship. Now you can't change weapons, unfortunately. Weapons is something at the moment that you can't change the colour of. But everything else we've managed to do. Just this last bit here. Just change the accent colour on there. Alright, and there's our ship. So our ship is now changed. We've completely changed the colour of our ship. Oh, I think we can do the fuel as well. Yes, we can. We can do the fuel as well. I think red just kind of fits in with everything else that we've been doing. We'll just kind of do that. There we go. Alright. We're done. There's our ship. So completely changed the look and feel of our ship. We know how to build. We know how to change modules. We know that we get different modules at different locations. We know that we need to take into consideration when we build the grav drive, the engines. That's the main thing. Storage. The ship, the layout, the look, the feel, all of that. But that's how you'll build a ship. Once you're happy with it, you just press tab to escape. And it's going to say that it's going to cost us 2,000 credits. If we're happy with that, we're done. Alright, so now that's done, we can now exit. We can come out of this screen, turn around, and there is our new ship. Everything that we've just changed, everything that we've just altered, as you can see, is now on the ship. It's built. And we get to go around and see our ship, which is a pretty awesome thing, actually. You really get an idea of, okay, so I can see how I built it, I can see what I've done there, I can see what I like and what I don't like. And you can really have some fun with this. So, missions obviously being a big part of the game, and Starfield is all about the story and the missions, but having the ability to customize and build your ships, and you really can. You can build a lot with this. As you level up, you'll have option to do more, and that's going to be important. And as you visit new places, you're going to have different things as well. So you can obviously do a lot more with this. Now let's go inside, just to finish this off. Now remember, we could later, if we had the longer ship, we could go through this door. But at the moment, we have to go up here. It's the only way we could build it. But now we're inside. You can see our docking hatch up there that we had. There we go. Everything how we had it. There's our cockpit. This is our module that we were living in. And if we had any other modules, they would obviously be in here as well. So we could add them and we can build out a much bigger ship with more components, sides to it. We can build a huge ship if we want to. But in order to do that, we need more money. We don't quite have that yet. So, enjoy. I hope this shipbuilding guide was useful for you. Thanks for watching. And I will see you in the next video.